So we did TP houses. That was the big thing, is TPing people's houses.
Yeah.
But someone, actually I know who it was, this kid that lived down the street from me, who was actually a friend of mine in middle school. His name was Jacob.
Yeah.
Him and his brother TP'd my house.
Yeah.
And my dad woke up to them TPing our house.
Oh boy.
And he chased them from our house to theirs down the street in nothing but his underwear with a police baton.
Oh my gosh.
Chased him home.
And your dad's a young guy. I mean, especially then.
Especially then.
Yeah.
My dad's young now, so I'm like,
He was
I'm sure
like in
they
his
were
40s or
freaking and my dad has always been athletic.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, super athletic. So
Yeah.
he would like ride his bike to work every day. Always work. So yeah, I'm sure they were terrified, chasing him with a police baton down the street. So funny. The funniest part about this is then my mom went and knocked on their door.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, we're not mad at you. Like, I understand you're being kids, but maybe just don't do it when my husband's home because he's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Are live.
We're live.
How are you today?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm super good.
I'm good too. Except for I've been staying up until 4 a.m. watching Law and Order every night.
I know. You
I've got into a really bad habit.
Yeah, you're in a really shitty sleeping cycle right now.
I am, except for last night or the night before last. I made a compilation of photos.
Yeah.
Of the different positions you get in when you sleep. Because you fell asleep. I'm what, like 11?
Yeah, probably 11. I fall asleep between 11 and 12.
Yeah, and then between that and 4:30 in the morning, you get into some crazy sleeping positions.
Great. So you're just staying up all night watching me sleep.
Yeah.
That is so weird to think about.
I take pictures of you while you're asleep. You get in some wild positions.
Yeah, those
I'll show you them. Yeah, but you're naked, so we can't show we can't show the world.
Yeah, maybe for the podcast I'll sleep with undergarments on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could put together a clothed edition of the positions you sleep in.
Yeah. Yeah, weird.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, you're on a really bad sleeping schedule.
I am, but I have a good podcast for us today.
Okay.
And the way this started,
I like a good podcast.
I do too. So the way this started is I was going somewhere. I don't remember where. But I was at the gas station.
Yeah.
Getting gas. And I want to know if you were raised, obviously we're the same generation. So I have a whole generational podcast for us. Things that we grew up with, the way we were raised, just being like, growing up in the 90's, what that was like and how different things are.
Yeah.
And have some 90's quizzes for you.
Okay.
Or some quizzes that'll test your generation. But I was at the gas station and getting gas, and I was raised to believe in that if you know how you put your credit card in, you get gas.
Yep.
And it says, would you like a receipt, yes or no?
Yeah.
I was raised, you have to press no, because if someone comes to the pump after you and gets your receipt, then they can steal all of your credit card information.
Yeah.
And they can hack you.
I think I always thought that too.
But I feel like that was because we were the generation that grew up. I remember when my parents got their first credit card.
Yeah.
I remember when they went from using only cash to getting a credit card, and what a crazy big deal that was, and like what that meant. And they were so worried about like getting all their bank accounts money stolen. And so going to the gas station, it was like so scary because you had to press no receipt. Otherwise someone was going to get all your banking information.
Yeah.
I remember going to Safeway, and it was the first time my mom ever used her credit card, and the lady swiped it and it didn't go through. So she swiped it again. And my mom like had to speak to a manager because she thought that she would be charged twice because it was swiped twice.
Yeah.
Even though it just didn't go through the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And, so yeah, those were me going to the gas station, and the whole receipt thing sparked this crazy concept for me for a generational thing.
Okay. So things that I grew up, a couple little things. I grew up always being told like, a couple of them that I was always told, obviously if you swallowed your gum, it took like 20 years for your body to get rid of it or something. So never swallow my gum. If I like tried to go cross-eyed, or if I'd look at my sister cross-eyed, your face would
get stuck like that.
I'd get stuck like that. Let's see, what are some other ones? Oh, Marilyn Manson removed his lower ribs to suck his own D.
Yes, we talked about that already.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Driving,
which I think is true, but
I think that is true, but okay. We were told, like, because we rode in the backseat of our minivan, if you turned on the light while driving, then we'd get pulled over, and it was illegal to drive with the light on inside your car.
My dad always would say the same thing.
Not true.
Yeah.
At all. So I was always worried, because if I needed to turn the light on, I thought we'd get pulled over and get arrested.
Yeah. Speaking of, my dad was here for last podcast, and I remember when we were kids. And if we turn the light on, and now granted, in Alaska, snowy, the driving conditions, the visuals are tough anyways. But I would always remember, like, turning the light on, my dad would be like, "God damn it, Austin, I can't see out the fucking window." And
that's how my mom was too. Like, we grew up in a really rural area. So I feel like a lot of our nostalgia is going to be like more reminiscent of people who grew up in rural areas. I think some will transcend like people who grew up in cities, but a lot of them were the era of kids that grew up in the country. So I have a few things. Okay, this is one. Okay. Nostalgia things, which you can speak on too, if you had these. But this is a funny one that I was thinking of. We were moving, and this is, I guess, a little bit later in my life. We were moving from the country to a kind of a residential neighborhood. Yeah. And my parents were like, I was really sad about moving because I was leaving the house I grew up in the middle of nowhere. And my one request that got me to move is if my parents agreed that I could have a phone line in my bedroom.
Oh, funny.
Because when we grew up, obviously, we had like the phone attached to the cord in the middle of the living room, and you'd have to go get the phone off the wall. And it, had the dial numbers. Of course, my parents were living a little bit in the past, so you had to like be in the living room talking on the phone in front of everybody.
Yes, I remember that.
But my one request was, if we moved, then I got to have my own phone line in my bedroom.
And that was back, I remember they started like coming out with cool, like the see-through phones or whatever, and they did it with the computers too, right?
Yes, they were clear, but you could see like the hardware and the internals of the phone inside.
Yeah, so the computers, I specifically remember, had like the teal plastic back cover or whatever, and you could kind of see through everything. And
but
that was
those were like the newer generation of computers.
Yes,
like going to school, we had like dial-up, and it was like it would take 10 minutes to get your computer to turn on.
Ooh, I've got a question, trivia on this topic.
Okay.
Do you remember your first landline phone number?
I do.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah. Are you allowed to?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yeah.
It was 503-864-4043.
Okay, funny. All right, mine was, that's funny. I don't know if I've ever told you about it, but my mom's number was 567-4305.
Okay.
Holy shit, I'm trying to remember my dad's number.
Yeah, I vividly remember my
I remember the Inlet View. Obviously, we had my dad last podcast. The Inlet View was 567-3337.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my dad's number was 567-3379.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, lots of similar numbers.
I know. Yeah, Alaska,
Yeah, I only remember my childhood number, like the landline number. I don't remember anybody else's.
Yeah.
But I do remember being in like middle school, and it was like so cool. It was like the cool thing. You'd get a notebook and you would go around and collect all of your classmates' home phone numbers.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so cool because I had a book full of like everybody's home phone number.
I gotta double check something really quick.
Okay.
I think the only number I remember, I think I still remember my buddy Jesse's number, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Unless because he still has it.
Yep, still the same one. I remembered it.
No way. Okay. Yeah. So I have one of my very favorite childhood memories that was definitely a 90s kid era.
Okay.
Well, you might not because you grew up in such a rural area. I guess I'll just tell you mine.
Yes.
It was such a big deal and this is when we moved, I guess, out of the middle of the country into somewhat of a normal neighborhood. We would walk to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And pick out movies and like pick out VHSs.
And
it was the coolest thing to like go pick through the whole like Blockbuster, get your VHS and get like red vines and popcorn at the counter. And it was like such a special moment when me and my mom and my brother would walk to Blockbuster to pick out movies.
Yeah.
But you had to return them at a certain time. And if you didn't bring them in you were required to have them rewound.
Yeah.
And they would give you like points or something because then you would get like red vines.
Yeah. So we didn't have Blockbuster.
Yeah.
We had it in Soldotna, which is like an hour away or whatever, but you'd never really rent from there because we'd have to drive it back, watch it or whatever. And we tried to limit our trips like up to Soldotna and stuff because, an hour each way and whatnot. Which is so funny because thinking about like now driving an hour. So this is along the same lines, like thinking now driving an hour, it's not really a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. You commute an hour or whatever, fairly normal for people, especially in a city, right? Mm-hmm. But for us, it was like driving an hour was so inconvenient.
That's how it was for us too. Like we lived in what was called Dayton, Oregon, and we had to drive, I think my grandparents, they lived in McMinnville for a period of time, which was like less than an hour, but it felt so long to get to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Yeah. And then before that, they lived on the Oregon coast, which we bought their beach house. Yeah. But it was like a 2.5 hour drive, and it was like such a big deal to like go to Grandma's house because it was like going on this wild adventure. It was like 2.5 hours, which is like nothing. Yeah.
What else? Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah, but anyways, like going to eat somewhere was like an hour away and stuff.
So when I lived in Oregon, long story short. Okay, so I lived in LA for like 4 months. I was trying to be a childhood actor, and it was like this really big deal that we went to LA. I was trying to get on Disney Channel for pilot season. And
good thing that didn't work out.
I know. I'm really...
Holy smokes.
Right?
Could have a Netflix
show documentary. Yeah. So we drove because we were poor, but we were like wanting to like make this dream come true. So we drove from Oregon, like a suburb of Portland, to LA. Yeah. And how did we get there? By driving, but with Mapquest.
Oh yes, I know, it's so crazy now. Like
to think you had to go and print your directions on Mapquest. Yes, I would be in the passenger seat of like our beat down Jeep trying to like tell my mom which exit to take. Yeah, while she's driving through the middle of like rush hour traffic in LA. Yeah, with all of our printed Mapquest directions.
Oh my gosh!
Because you didn't have cell phones. Yeah, that was before like GPS devices in your car where you had like the little little direction things. And so I would just, me and my mom and my brother, we'd just start screaming at each other in the car because I would tell her the exit too late, or when I was driving and you had Mapquest, you'd have to say like, because you can't read the whole thing while you're driving. Yeah. So I'd be like, all right, I need to be on here for 26 miles. So then I would look at my mile gauge and make sure, all right, I need to pay attention in 20 miles. I need to look back at my directions and see where I am.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like, just to think about, they talk about distracted driving nowadays. Like, back then, I would argue that it was almost worse. Like, looking at Mapquests, having to flip through my CD book. Yeah. And even like most of our cars didn't even have CD players. It was like cassette tapes. And then eventually we got this thing where you could plug a cassette tape into it, and it had a cord that you could run to a CD player. Yeah. So it was like you had to it was nuts.
What's really funny to think too is like thinking back, if we were thinking back if we were in the 90s right now, we probably would have been talking about, in 2024 we're gonna have flying cars and shit like that.
100%. 100%.
But I will say in 25 years from now, we're gonna have flying cars.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, because think about it. Like flying cars, I just think about like, I don't know, I'm such a government conspiracy theorist. Like,
yes, you are. We're not going to get you down that rabbit
don't get me started on that. I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, just like printing out Mapquests, having to like read the directions for my parents when we drove anywhere. It was a wild time. And then growing up, like being outside, like when we were younger, like they had. Do you remember on TV? Again, you lived in even a more rural area than I did.
Yeah.
But there would be these pop-up commercials on TV that basically said, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Just to like remind parents, like, hey,
go check on your kids.
Go check on your kids. Yeah. And we didn't have cell phones. So our rule was we were supposed to be outside all day.
Yeah.
Like go play outside. Don't just stay in the house. So we would play outside. We'd make forts. I would make little like mud houses for worms.
Yeah.
And then when the street lights came on, that was time I had to get back inside.
Funny.
And if I wasn't home when the street lights came on, then I would get grounded.
That is so funny.
That was like my tell of when it was time to go home.
Yeah, Ninilchik still.
You guys don't have street lights.
There's a couple street lights, down on the Seward High or on the highway, but yeah, through most of it, no street lights. There's not even a stoplight or anything in Ninilchik still.
So we had like all of that stuff when we were little kids, and then moving on to like, I feel like there was such a big jump and change between our childhood. All of a sudden, like I remember when my parents got their first cell phone.
Yeah.
How big of a deal that was.
Yeah.
And the cell phone had to stay in the living room, and it was for emergencies only. And it was like this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And from the era of then switching over to like, schools started having computers for you to use.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like, did you ever get on like the AOL chat rooms?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What was it? Was there like a Hotmail messenger?
Hotmail there might have been.
Yeah, I think
there was like
so.
AOL chat rooms. Obviously, Hotmail is like email, email browser. But I remember like you could go on these chat rooms and talk to people, and I'm sure that is a lot of how there was a lot of like child exploitation. Like,
yeah,
that was not good.
Yeah, I think there was a little time where I had AOL for a little bit, but yeah, I don't even really remember until like high school, like getting on Messenger or whatever, and I could get on for an hour and like message my friends and stuff. But the computer, was right in the living room, and
well, we only did it at school, and it was like when we were being bad at school, you'd go on and you'd go to these chat rooms, and it was messaging complete strangers.
Yeah, ours, they had something set up where you couldn't like get on at our school and stuff, and I wasn't ever smart enough to figure out how, because there was a lot of kids who could figure. Yes, right there. I could never figure it out.
I knew how to hack into all the websites and go past the like security whatever.
Yeah.
And then because you could just adjust the way you type the URL into the browser, and that would go past the blocker, because they could only they could only block like specific sites.
Yeah.
And if you could go in through like a backdoor entry.
I was too busy playing Oregon Trail, and I was kind of a good kid. I was playing Oregon Trail.
Let's rewind to elementary school.
Okay.
Favorite game you played in elementary school?
Ooh, like computer game or
anything? Because I have two.
I mean, I always looked forward, and now I don't want to get canceled. I'm not gonna get canceled, but I actually had just put this poll up in on my Instagram on my card Instagram not too long ago, and it was there was a game, and I asked everyone, what did you guys call this? Because we called it something specific, and
I had never heard it. You asked me this, and I had never heard of it.
So crazy.
It did not make it to Oregon.
Everyone's outside, right? We're on the football field. We'd always play football at recess. We'd have like 30 minutes, and we'd set up a game, and before recess started, we would be talking about, let's make the teams right now. So when we go outside, we have all of our shit together, and we've got 30 minutes to play. But there was a game that we always enjoyed, and if we weren't setting things up ahead of time, it was, we were all on the football field. the ball goes up in the air, someone catches it, and then they're it, and you got to tackle them. And once you get tackled, you give up the ball. But we called it something specific, and but it was called Smear the Queer. It's what we all called it. And that's what everyone said when I asked them, what did you guys call this game? And everyone's like, Smear the Queer. And
okay. Maybe there is some parts of cancel culture that are acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, this was back in the
time ago.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Smear the Queer.
I was going a different direction.
Okay, but that was my favorite game.
Heads Up 7-Up.
Yeah, we played that. Not like a ton. It was usually like a holiday if we were doing games in class or whatever.
No,
like
we played that all the time.
Yeah.
And then my favorite recess game. Did you guys have tetherball?
We had a couple set up, but they always got destroyed. And yeah, I never really played tetherball.
Tetherball was my favorite game, and
Really?
I was so good at it.
Yeah.
I could destroy everybody at tetherball.
Really?
Yes.
Tetherball. Yeah, that's the one
Tetherball
where it's
master.
on the pole and you are like hitting it back and forth, right? And you're trying to
Yes.
get it to spin all the way. Yeah.
And who could imagine like our nieces and nephews are still young.
Yeah.
But like when I was that age, I could never imagine kids nowadays playing that. Like
No, for sure.
a metal pole with just a string and a ball. Like
Yeah.
I doubt that that's something that interests them. They're all on iPads and phones. And
I know.
gadgets.
I wonder. I would be very curious what recess is like nowadays. Like,
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure at younger ages they're not allowed to like have phones and games and stuff. But
I don't know.
I don't know
mean, so
either.
many kids have cell phones. I mean, like every kid has a cell phone now and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder what.
and I do think that it's appropriate at a certain age for kids to get cell phones.
For
I think
sure.
the parental guidance ones that they can't get on chat rooms and
Yeah.
be, like,
Well, everyone's got an iPad now. Like I see
Everybody.
kids, our nieces and nephews have iPads
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, I'm curious to see what that's like.
Okay, going back to me being able to hack sites.
Yeah.
We were the era that had MySpace.
Yes.
Now the generation now, I don't want to be not mean, but like I feel like the world's getting a little bit more sensitive. So
Yeah.
when we had MySpace, you literally had your top 10
Your top-
and you ranked your friends
Yes.
in order.
Yes.
from
I
your
remember it being a very big deal.
Very controversial. You'd rank your top 10, and it was such a big deal when like a boy liked you, he'd
Yes.
put you in his top 10.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then you knew that they had a crush on you, so
Yeah.
then I would put him in my top 10.
It was usually like the number one or something.
Yeah.
If you were, yeah.
If you were like the new crush, it'd be like,
Uh-huh.
oh, did you see so and so put you as number 1 on MySpace?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We just recently we tried to log into.
I tried to log into my old MySpace.
I tried to get in mine too.
Couldn't do it.
I couldn't figure it out.
Where I want to figure that out, and then we switched over to like Facebook, obviously, which
Yeah.
was later on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then other websites, did you use LimeWire?
Yes. Oh, fuck yeah. I ruined our home computer with LimeWire and Napster and all that.
To download illegal music.
Yeah, download music, and then that was the other thing too. If you liked someone, you'd make them a CD or something
Yes.
and put all
you'd
the.
make somebody a playlist on a CD.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was such a big deal.
We'd have like our big books of CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
So then getting our first cell phones, I
Yeah.
remember getting my first cell phone. It was obviously like a prepaid. I had so many minutes,
Yeah.
so I could only talk on the phone and text so often.
Yeah.
But for each family member or friend, I would pay like the 99 cents to get a custom ringtone
Yes.
for them. So it'd be
Yes.
like, this is why I'm hot. This
Yes.
is why I'm
Oh,
hot.
that one was like one of the. That had to have been one of the most popular
One of the
ones.
most popular ringtones.
Yep.
And so it'd be like, this is why I'm hot. And
Oh,
I'm like,
I still.
my mom's calling.
That is so funny. I still remember like picking out ringtones and
And paying 99 cents for a ringtone. And nowadays, you would not catch me dead with my ringer on.
oh my gosh, yeah.
My ringer on my phone has not been on in years.
Mine either. The only, which is funny. Again, we just had my dad here, and
Yeah.
and he keeps his ringtone on, so his phone's always
Always ringing.
yeah. It rings, and he'll be, oh god damn it, where's my, and That's my impression of my dad.
I will say, as I'm getting older, I saw this, these Gen Zers talking about like, oh, this is how you know you're old if you walk around the store with your phone on speakerphone.
Really?
And I do that.
I do that all the time.
I never put my phone up to my ear.
No, I don't either.
Not for like,
I can't
health
hear
issues or brain waves.
Yeah, my ears are kind of closed anyway, so I can't hear like when it's up on my ear. I have to have it on speaker.
Oh, I only put it on speaker. I don't know. I just don't like to have my phone up to my ear.
Yeah,
because then I can play on it and talk on the phone at the same
time. What about I think we've talked about it, but a thing that a lot of people do is FaceTime all the time, right?
So, but that was, I feel like that's not a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like based on the region you live in.
Yes.
So in Oregon, it was like I never FaceTime, or Alaska, I
Yeah.
never FaceTime anyone unless it's a close family member.
Yeah.
And you're FaceTiming them to like show off my dogs, or like you had a reason to FaceTime. Whereas here, immediately we moved here, and I'm going to throw him under the bus, Malky, our manager, would always FaceTime us. And I'd be like, why the fuck is he FaceTiming me? Like, I just didn't get it. But that's what they do here. You just FaceTime. And everybody does it.
I'm gonna throw my buddy Proton Christian under the bus, and he'll randomly like FaceTime like, Christian,
I don't want to see your face right now.
I don't want to FaceTime you right now, buddy. I love you, but I don't want to FaceTime.
I don't want you to see my face right now.
Yeah,
I don't want to have a face-to-face conversation.
I know. In which, honestly, it's probably the more. I mean, it's probably the right thing to do, right? You're talking to someone.
I mean,
you want
it's
to see
new age technology too. You might as well use it.
I'm not really into it though.
I'm not either.
I'm not a big talk on the phone person.
See, I'm not a big texter.
I would rather text somebody.
I don't want to have a long, drawn out texting conversation with anybody. If you want to talk to me, call me.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation, get through what we need to get through, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, I would rather just like send an email.
Yeah, you're an emailer.
I'm an emailer.
Yeah, like, you like to email.
Send me an email.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like texting.
Yeah. The hard thing for me is my emails. Let's see.
Well, because you're not on how many text messages?
My Gmail, I have 18,938 unread.
Because you don't use your email for business the way I do.
My Yahoo, I have 10,024 unread.
Yeah.
And then my texts, I have 582 unread text messages.
I have 0 unread emails because I check my email throughout the day. I have one text message. Oh, it's spam. They just said hello.
You only have one unopened text message?
Well, now 0. It just came in while we were on the podcast.
See, I think that's psycho.
That's not psycho. I respond to everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
You're bad. See, in mine, I look at mine, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get back to it. I leave it up, and then, of course, I never get back to it. But.
No. If I want to respond, I will. Sometimes I'll forget to respond. But my true friends, no, I'll respond when I feel like responding.
Yeah.
And then for my emails, like, even if I have, like, this weird OCD with having something, like, an unread email. So I'll go through and I'll peek at it. And if I know it's something I need to get to and respond to, but I don't want to right now, I have different flagged folders.
You're insane.
So,
you are so organized.
So I put the orange flag for needing to respond like soon.
Yeah.
Red is respond immediately. And then gray I use for like I should save this, but I don't need to respond. It's like I have.
I'm so lucky I have you. You keep my life together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like our taxes, our tax people, anybody, our financial people.
Yeah.
I flag them and they have their own subcategory.
Yeah, I am very thankful for you. You keep our lives in check and in order. Because if it was just me, yeah.
All right. I have a game to play.
Okay, but first,
What?
I love your outfit.
Thank you.
And it reminds me, because I just read an article. Did you know that there's wild monkeys in Florida?
No.
Yeah.
What? Well, these aren't monkeys.
No,
these
but
are tigers.
The jungle cat. The jungle cat kind of. Yeah, I was just reading right before we got here. There's wild monkeys in Florida,
There's also
in Central Florida.
Wild panthers.
Yes, as we know.
I know this.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a game to play with you.
Okay.
It's going to be short.
Okay.
But that's going to go into my next category that I have. Again, sticking to our generational theme.
Yeah.
I have a song lyric.
Oh, yes.
I need you to finish it.
Okay, we had played this game recently,
Yes.
right? On a road trip. Let me preface this whole thing. Really fun game to play when you're driving.
Yes, finish the lyric.
Finish the lyric. We had watched the game show and it was on, and then we took a little drive with my dad here. And,
yeah, we drove him to that military museum.
Yeah, the Navy SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce.
So we had like an hour and a half. So I'd play a song that he would think that he knew all the lyrics to. I'd randomly pause it.
Yeah.
And you have to finish the lyrics. And you found out you don't really know them that well.
I was very embarrassed because right before you were like, oh, yeah, you're going to be really good.
Yeah.
Because I'm generally pretty good at remembering lyrics. Yeah. But yeah.
This is a different game.
Okay.
I need you to finish. Okay, no, I'm just going to say finish the lyric.
Okay.
Hey now.
You're an all-star. Get your
game on.
Get your game on.
Play. All right.
Play.
That is true.
R.I.P. to the
true millennial era.
Yeah.
I actually finished this in an older generation.
Yeah.
The hey now, the dream is over.
Okay,
hey
that's
now.
what you would.
Yeah.
That's where you would have went.
And
yeah.
then there's hey now. It's a Hillary Duff song. Hey now. This is what dreams. Thanks, Juan.
Is that what you just sang?
No. It's
okay.
two different songs.
Oh boy.
This is
nice.
what dreams are made.
Yeah, Hillary
of.
Duff. Oh, that is so funny.
But then there's the hey now.
That was on the
dream
Disney.
Is over.
That was on Disney Channel,
yes.
right? Okay.
So if you said hey now, you're an all-star, you're a millennial. The dream is over was from like 1986.
Oh, funny.
So a little bit older, but
okay.
Still a very popular song.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
Stop.
Hammer time.
Good job.
Yeah.
Stop. Hammer time. We have different. That's not the one I said.
Okay.
I said, wait, let's get it. One. Stop. Finish the lyric. In the name of love.
Wow. That. Oh, that's so funny.
There's a few more that show your age. There's
okay.
Stop. Hammer time. Stop. In the name of love. Stop. Collaborate and listen.
Oh, okay.
The brand new invention.
Yeah.
Something. Which that was more the one
okay.
I said. Stop.
Yeah.
Collaborate. And then stop. Can't touch this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went down that path because I feel like there was this whole conversation, and maybe just because like the news is on our phone, the news is on TV, the news like it's so easily accessible for people to like. It's not just reading the newspaper anymore.
Yeah.
And there was this, big conversation. I don't want to say the politician who was talking about it, about how inappropriate music is nowadays and how downhill and how trashy music has become because it's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
And then that made me think, I was like,
oh, that motherfucker didn't listen to Eminem back in.
Hold up. Because I remember grinding at my middle school dance to that song, Colt 45 and 2 zigzags. That's all we need.
Yeah.
And then, so I went to know some of your inappropriate songs from the 90s. I have a whole list.
I don't know if it's the 90s, but, what was that one?
Yeah.
The sweat running down.
Down my balls.
Yeah, sweat running.
Oh, these bitches.
That's what I remember.
Skeet,
at the school dances and stuff. And,
so I put anything by DMX.
Yeah. Another R.I.P.
Another one. The Me So Horny song.
Oh, yes.
So horny.
Yeah.
That one.
Bloodhound Gang. I remember, Bloodhound Gang. Like, I can't think of the song right now.
Okay, look it up.
Yeah.
Baby Got Back.
Yeah.
Was epic.
Yeah.
Baby Got Back. Do you remember the song Swing? Let me see your hips swing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of like Eminem, or not, of course I put Eminem on here. Pretty much anything Eminem and Slim Shady. Like we were just listening to what's that Eminem song that
one of the best ones.
His Conscience comes into play.
Yeah, Guilty Conscience.
Guilty Conscience.
Yes.
Like I just the songs nowadays are inappropriate, but then what about I
think the songs like I want to say the songs nowadays like those ones were inappropriate and but
they're not as
I feel
vulgar.
like it's more raunchy.
Okay.
Like now, right? I think it's more like
Cardi
WAP and
B's
stuff.
Or
yeah.
the not butter biscuit. The butter.
Truffle butter.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a little more like raunchy.
Butter biscuit.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay. Then I have Shaggy. It Wasn't Me.
Yeah. Which was good.
It
It was a story, kind of telling a story, right?
Telling a story.
But see, not quite as raunchy as like something today.
I do feel like too the songs back then told a story.
Yeah.
Like I would just played for you What Would You Do? That one song where it's like, what would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry and the only way to feed him was to sleep with a man for a little bit of money and his daddy's gone somewhere selling rock now, in and out of lockdown. Anyways,
I ain't got a job now.
Yeah,
that more
story, but it is about a lady selling her body and buying, to provide for her family.
I think now they get really, really specific with it and talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't listen to that stuff. I do feel like I mostly listen to like country and 90's rap.
Yeah.
Is my favorite genre.
Yeah.
Growing up with like Tupac and Biggie and.
Yeah, for sure. But I agree. Yeah.
So that was what I had for us.
Okay, another one. Okay. I just remembered another one that I always grew up believing. So, is it an acronym or what Adidas stood for?
No, I don't know.
Did you never had this? So I was convinced, all of us, like my childhood group of friends or whatever, we were convinced that so if you wore Adidas, it meant all day I dream about sex.
I do remember that.
Yeah, so if you wore Adidas, you were more of like, I guess, a freak. And yeah, because you all day you dreamt about sex.
I remember that.
Obviously, that's not what it stands for, but we always thought that's what Adidas stood for.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I had another one.
Okay.
So now, if someone calls you on a blocked number,
yeah.
What would you do do you remember, if you could remember back in the day when someone called you, how did you call someone on a blocked number and how did you find out who called you when they had their number blocked?
Was it star 67?
Star 69 was to call somebody with a blocked number.
Okay.
But if you immediately dial star 67, it called them back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Star 69 and star 67.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Which I used to do a lot of like prank calls. I'd get the old soundboards and like call.
What did you call it when you would go knock on someone's door, ring their doorbell, and then run?
Ding dong and ditch.
That's what I called it too.
Yeah.
There was this new I swear it was on Instagram or TikTok, but they called it something else.
Yeah.
For me, it was always called ding dong ditch.
Okay, I'm gonna get really
Don't do it.
Should I not?
Well, whisper it.
Okay, this was traumatizing to me. So I got convinced. I was with a group of older kids and we were having a sleepover and my parents didn't love me staying the night at this individual's house because we always got into crazy trouble or shit like that and so did you ever do like the poop in the bag and light it on fire?
Okay, I didn't.
Okay. But were you with a group of kids who ever?
No, but I will say that it did happen to my house a time or two.
Okay. Well, I had some friends who convinced me to go number 2 in a paper sack, and then we put it on a porch of a house that we weren't fond of or whatever, but we didn't light it on fire or anything. But I think we had like funny things written on the bag or whatever the case. So anyways,
so you were a bully. Continue.
I was not a bully. I was convinced. I was picked on.
Continue.
Okay, so we did that. So, the night goes on or whatever. I'm assuming they walked out either the next morning because it was really late at night and saw the bag. It was like, oh, whatever. And again, I was very young. I was manipulated into doing this. So I lived for a week of fear at school. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, they're going to
test the DNA.
They're going to DNA test it. They're going to find out it was me. I'm going to get in so much trouble. And I was just petrified for like a week.
Good.
And then once the week went through, I was like, well, they haven't figured it out now. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, well, they could have sent it off and it probably takes a little longer. So it probably ended up being like a month where I was
panicked.
Oh my gosh. And then I was just like, oh, when people are gonna find out at school and everyone's gonna. I was so
That's funny. So we did TP houses. That was the big thing, is TPing people's houses.
Yeah.
But someone, actually I know who it was, this kid that lived down the street from me, who was actually a friend of mine in middle school. His name was Jacob.
Yeah.
Him and his brother TP'd my house.
Yeah.
And my dad woke up to them TPing our house.
Oh boy.
And he chased them from our house to theirs down the street in nothing but his underwear with a police baton.
Oh my gosh.
Chased him home.
And your dad's a young guy. I mean, especially then.
Especially then.
Yeah.
My dad's young now, so I'm like,
I'm
sure
like in
they
his
were
40s or
freaking and my dad has always been athletic.
Yeah, yeah.
And super athletic. So he would like ride his bike to work every day. Always work. So I'm sure they were terrified, chasing him with a police baton down the street. So funny. The funniest part about this is then my mom went and knocked on their door.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, we're not mad at you. Like, I understand you're being kids, but maybe just don't do it when my husband's home because he's a little bit dangerous. Yeah. And then my mom went and gathered all the toilet paper and we used it.
Oh, that's so
because
funny.
we were poor.
Yeah.
And they TP'd our house with good toilet paper.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to use the nice toilet paper for a while.
One of the little pranks that I like to pull, it was a short time, it was like a summer, but especially in the Nilchik, no one locks their cars or does anything like that. So I had a police, maybe not necessarily a police, but it was a steering wheel lock.
Oh yeah.
And I would go in and lock people's steering wheel so they couldn't leave and do stuff like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
And then it very short lived because everyone found out, oh yeah, Austin's got a steering wheel thing. Don't leave your car unlocked because I would do little pranks.
Those are funny.
I was a little pranker.
Those are very funny. Okay. I had saved on here. Hold on. What is this YouTube video?
Gosh, me and my buddy used to do the craziest shit, Jesse. We'd get like Halloween masks, and we had a couple of friends who we knew like their parents wouldn't do anything crazy, and we would get these masks on, and we would like in the middle of the night, we'd be not middle of the night, but like 7 or 8 when it was kind of dusk or dark, and we would see like, oh yeah, they're inside watching TV, let's sneak in. We would sneak into their house and like hide and have these
awful.
Yeah, it was bad. We could have got shot, like,
oh for sure.
We got the police called on us one time, and
that makes sense.
But again, everyone found out, oh yeah, Austin and Jesse are running around getting into people's
breaking into people's houses,
which now sounds so bad, but
which it's so different now, especially playing like Ding Dong Ditch. People have like Ring cameras and, and you can't TP someone's house because like their whole house is covered in cameras and it would take 2 seconds to get caught. Like I just feel like the era of playing outside and being like a rambunctious kid is over. You know what, speaking of like memories, honestly my most fun like game and memory was, and this only happened I think twice, but we got all the kids in the Nilchik. I mean, I would say, there was like 20 or 30 of us, and we played a town-wide game of capture the flag. Oh,
and it was so much fun. And the flags were on like on opposite sides of the town. The town's not big, so like 2 miles in. But I remember just like running and sweating my ass off, and and you would end up in like a dark little area like down on the beach, and it'd be you and one other person, and they could see, and we were all dressed up in like all black, or my brother had a ghillie suit on, and he was like, he would hide in the bushes, and
what's a ghillie suit?
It's that suit where it's like snipers use them in the military, or hunters and stuff, where you look like you're a bush.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it was so much fun.
That's really funny.
I would love to go back and do something like that.
Me too. See, I just I miss that era, and obviously here now that we live in Florida, it's like I just feel like things are different too when you grew up in a city. Yeah. Like if you grew up in New York, there's a lot of things you can go play outside and do all this stuff. But living in the country, like my favorite thing was building forts and riding dirt bikes and Oh, I had the best.
I would have been down at Rucker Park every day growing up if I lived in New York playing basketball. And
and then we had the best present I ever got was like my BMX bike with my pegs.
Yeah.
So I could have my friends ride on my pegs.
Yeah, hop on my pegs.
Hop on my pegs. I'll ride you home.
So
and I'd go
funny.
ride bikes through the neighborhood and for a short period in time. So for whatever reason, the town. So I grew up. I lived in what was called Dayton, Oregon for a long time. Then we moved to Newburgh, and I would have to look this up, but I'm pretty sure like Tony Hawk was part of building the skate park in Newburgh.
Okay.
Because it had this like epic skate park. Epic. It was like such a big deal, the skate park, but you weren't really supposed to go hang out down there because it was kind of a questionable part of town.
Yeah.
But for a short period of time, I thought I was going to be this like skater chick.
Yeah.
And I actually got pretty good. In middle school, I could drop in on the big ramp. And,
really? Yeah, I never did. I was never like a skateboarder.
Yeah.
Really.
That was like what we had in the town.
Yeah.
That was the coolest,
like what to
most
go do.
Notable thing. Yeah. You could go to the skate park and go ride around and be naughty.
Yeah.
Except for actually, there was apartments next door to the skate park. I went there for like a high school party, and a bunch of college kids showed up, which meaning college kids, it means they came from George Fox University, which is a private Christian college. A private Christian college.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at a high school party. These 3 college students from a private Christian college show up.
This sounds like the setup of a Law and Order SVU.
It basically
episode.
was. So, of course, we're at a high school party, drinking, being, naughty high schoolers.
Yeah.
These 3 college kids show up. And my friends at the time were like, hey, you know what? This is a high school party. It's not really what you're what you're interested in. I think you should leave.
Yeah.
They pulled a gun on us.
Crazy.
George Fox University, private Christian school kids pulled a gun on a high school party.
Yeah.
And so then I remember running home and I was jumping fences. And actually I found a cop and I was like, hey, would you just give me a ride home? Would you please just give me a ride home? And that was next to the skate park.
Yeah. Crazy.
What are we at, 1?
46.
Oh, cool.
Oh, perfect.
So I had a game for us to play.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to save it for next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's a completely different topic.
Yeah.
It was going to be a game of Would You Rather, but it is applicable to married couples.
Yeah. Save it for next.
I'm going to save it for next time.
Yeah.
And then I also have like some hidden talent things, more stuff about traveling and flying.
Oh boy.
And then I think, quick closer.
Yeah.
Did you see Snoop Dogg carry the torch for the Olympics?
I saw that he was going to, which I thought is so funny.
Epic. Like
for Team USA, obviously.
For Team USA. And like, think about like America.
Yeah.
What's more American than Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah.
I think.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
And the way that like him and Martha Stewart have become like these 2 like partners of like, it's so funny.
Yeah, completely opposite. Yeah,
but I freaking loved it. Him carrying the torch, it was awesome.
Yeah, the Olympics start.
Yes, so we're gonna get back and start watching the Olympics. Name your favorite Olympic sport. Name your favorite summer Olympic sport.
I mean, I gotta say wrestling, right?
Is it still in the Olympics?
Yeah.
I thought they were taking it out.
No, it's still in there. But I would say, gosh, I always love watching like track and field and doing that. I'm actually excited this year to watch basketball, the 3-on-3, because there's a player on Team USA that I always loved. It's I say I always loved him, but now
remember.
Jimmer Fredette.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was a 3-point specialist in college and stuff. And anyways, I'm excited to see that. And then I'm also excited to see sand volleyball because there's another.
I bet you are.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. But
what country do you like?
But the men's sand volleyball because Team USA has Chase Budinger and he was in the NBA. You remember? He played for the University of Arizona, like white guy, red hair, always could like had the craziest hops, like dunks and stuff. He's on Team USA this year, so I'm excited to see. Which he was known as like a volleyball player coming out of high school and stuff, and then played for the Pistons. So I'm excited to see that too. And see how those guys fare
I saw a video, and I want to just say Colombia, but it was, of course, the sand volleyball team, and this girl's got a badonkadonk.
Oh, I bet.
So I'm sure you'll be watching that one.
Hey, come on.
Okay,
I mean, why would I could just look at this and
Thank you.
Yeah.
Since you didn't ask, my favorite
oh yeah, what's your favorite?
my favorite Olympic sport for summer is gymnastics.
Yeah, I love watching gymnastics.
Specifically the floor routines.
Okay.
Floor routines. Olympics.
What is the floor routine
big
again?
Floor, and they run, and they like fly through the air and flippy flip.
Yeah, cool. That's pretty cool.
I know you like it. I know you do.
No, I do. I love just watching all of it. I like yeah.
Oh, floor gymnastics in the Olympic is incredidu Beam is cool too, but it's like a little bit more nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I like the exciting part of floor gymnastics.
Okay, if we can remember, you asked me this question the other day. What's the one Olympic sport that Team USA hasn't ever medaled in?
Ooh, I know
Summer
this.
Olympics.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, say it.
Table tennis.
Table tennis.
The United States has never medaled in table tennis.
Yeah, fact check us, but I believe that is
ping pong.
Yeah,
but
I believe that is, which is so crazy to me.
Is it?
Yeah,
is ping pong big here?
I mean, is fencing big here? Like any? No. Yeah, I just see,
and especially because the United States is just so big, like geographically, such a large country.
Yeah,
it's got to be easy for us to have representation in almost every sport.
Yeah, but I think
that's true. Fact check.
It's good one. Yeah, which is just so crazy to me. But it's popular in like the Asian countries and stuff like that. So I think they're just
actually our boxing coaches say it's really important for you to play ping pong. It's really good for hand-eye coordination.
I love ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a ping pong table growing up.
I didn't.
Jesse and I had a running game. It was the first to 1,000 wins, but we never
finished it. Do you ever know could you ever figure out what the score was?
I'm sure Jesse could, but it all ended
because you threw a paddle at his face.
Yeah, but I missed his face. He was like on some run. I think he'd beaten me like 5. It was always a game of runs, right? Like I would win 4, 5, 6 games in a row, then he would win 6, 10, whatever. And that year for Christmas that we were doing this, my mother had got my stepdad a giant neon sign, and it was a Bud Light, really nice like Bud Light neon sign. It was in our garage, and that was kind of like our hangout area, and we had like a man cave or whatever, and anyway, so we're going back and forth, and Jesse had beat me, and and we would always talk a little shit. And anyways, what would end up happening is if you lost, you had to turn around with your shirt off, and the other guy got to got to paddle the ball at your back. So nice. We'd always have like welts on our back.
That was the other game I played as a kid.
What?
We would play
Bloody Knuckles.
Well, yeah, Bloody Knuckles, of course, but with airsoft guns.
Oh yeah.
We'd play airsoft tag, and you'd run around and you'd find people and you'd shoot them with the airsoft gun.
Yeah, all the time.
I had an airsoft bullet or BB stuck in my foot for a long time.
Did you? Yes. Yeah. So anyways, Jesse beats me, and I'm like, all right. Or no, maybe I can't remember what happened. Anyways, what ended up happening is I chucked my ping pong paddle at him. He ducked, and it crashed right into the neon sign and destroyed it.
Is it because he ducked, or was it because you were a bad throw?
Could have been that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the end of our ping pong, our table tennis.
Okay. Well, good thing you don't have violent aggression anymore.
No, I'm very
in your relationships.
Yes. No.
Okay. Well.
All right.
This was a Kickass Love Story.
Yes.
90's Nostalgia Edition.
Yeah.
Come back next week for a really spicy game of Would You Rather.
Speaking of nostalgia, I'm about to go hop on NCAA 25.
No.
I have to.
This game is going to lead to a lot of divorces.
I'm in year 3 of my dynasty. I just won the national championship. I beat the Oregon Ducks to win the national championship.
Sometimes I I don't want to believe the things people say about you.
I'm a giant nerd. What? Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, we're live every Wednesday at noon, anywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, YouTube, OFTV, Apple, any of the things I didn't say, live at 12. Come back next week. Oh, check the comments because we have officially picked our 10 winners of the signed Power Slap, hand slap signatures.
Yes.
So check the comments because we are going to announce the winners in the comments, and then email us. We'll have the directions in the caption too, but email us your address and we'll get you your signed picture.
And by we mean you, because you are the one with the shit together.
Yes, I will make you drive to the post office though.
Yes, I will hand deliver.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's go play with our puppies.
Out.